Hey all, good morning, afternoon, or evening, whatever it may be for wherever you are. I am Stephanie Joy with all things Social Security and the Joy Disability Law Office. Your video is about to start. I wanted to remind you of our live Q&A sessions here on YouTube as well. They start at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, so it's a little earlier for you Western folks. And I look forward to seeing you there. It's a first come, first served basis in terms of the questions you might want to pose in the chat. And I will pick them up going from beginning to end for about a 2-hour period. So anyway, I hope to see you there. Have a great one, and I will talk to you guys later. Bye. Good morning, afternoon, or evening. I am responding to a very concerned question someone had this week with regard to what the amount of Social Security disability is going to be. This person was watching a recent YouTube video on Social Security, and I don't know that the YouTuber fellow was misinforming. I think it was really just misunderstood. So I'm going to explain it so you have a better understanding. It was indicated that the YouTuber said that those who are approved for SSDI will receive the same amount as they would if they had retired at their full retirement age, 67 in my case, this person. That's true. Now, the person asking me about this goes on to say that the YouTuber then went on to clarify that what people don't understand is that the SSA online account you see is projecting years into the future as to what your full retirement amount payment will be if you work all the years between the present and the FRA. He then said it was the same for SSDI. This is where I think it's getting confused. If you look at your earnings statement, and it's not true. SSDI, when you win SSDI, they cut off. You don't have to have those full 35 years, top 35 years with counted zeros in between. If you're found to be disabled at 55, the 0 years after to retirement don't count. They're not going to get worked into that calculation to very much bring down your benefit amount for many people if you weren't filing for SSD. So when you stop working because of disability, you really should file, because that cuts that right off right there. When they, as of the date that they find your established onset date. But I wanted to show you so it's not confusing. When you're looking at your earnings statement, do not look at your retirement benefit amount when you want to know your SSD amount. So, and I always tell my people, look to the left, and I'm just going to grab one up here. So when you get to the very first page, you're going to see that bar graph on the upper right. And if you notice, it says personalized monthly retirement benefit estimates. And of course, that's if you wait to collect your retirement. I'm going to read you the retirement benefits. You have earned enough credits to qualify retirement benefits. To qualify for benefits, you earn credits through your work up to 4 each year. You guys know this from the videos. Your full retirement age is 67 based on your date of birth. As shown in the chart, you can start your benefits at any time between ages 62 and 70. For each month you wait to start your benefits, your monthly benefit will be higher for the rest of your life. These personalized estimates are based on your earnings to date and assume, they say it right here, guys, assume you continue to earn the same amount as last year until you start your benefits. So for retirement, there's a presumption that you're going to keep working until you retire and start to collect. Now, if you go right under that, that's retirement. So don't confuse the two. Although it's true that SSD is collecting your full retirement benefit now, you'll actually see it a little differently once you read this. It's true. So under the next paragraph down on the left-hand side, in red, it says disability benefits. Read there. You have credits to qualify for disability benefits. If you became disabled right now and you have enough recent work, your monthly payment would be about, and in this case, it was $2,077. Note that that's because they're not assuming you continue working. That's the amount you're going to get by stopping right now and winning and proving that you're disabled right now, because none of those zeros of future years of not working are kicking in. That person continued to work at the same rate of the last working year, that person would retire at 2281. So that's because that's another 7 or 8 years away. So when you look for so if you were old enough to get retirement now, it would be the earlier one, the disability amount, 2077. But the chart on the right, which is your retirement amount, that's because you do continue working to get those amounts. So look at the number on the left under disability benefits. There's no chart with it. It's just if you were to become disabled now, this is what you're going to get. And just as an add-on, they go on to talk about survivor benefits and what those would be if that happened. And they talk a little bit about Medicare. And then they show you your earnings record, which is always really important, I think. And I will add this too on the, if you were disabled today, getting $2,077 today per month, that is going to change every year due to COLA. Oh, unless you have like inflation like we did in the 2010 and 2011 and maybe 2015. I don't know. There was a few years there during that administration that we had some stag going on. So there was no increases, but there was no major inflation either. And same with the retirement benefit estimates. That chart there with all the bars going out from age 62 to age 70, those things will all be adjusted by COLA for each year. So those numbers, by the time you get there, are going to be higher because of the COLA. And of course, if you change your work amounts, you drop down, you're not earning the same amount you were earning last year, then you will, if you're not earning the same amount, you will drop down. If you're earning more, it's going to pop up because some of those higher income ones are going to kick out some of the earlier years when you were younger and didn't make as much. All right. So SSD is the same as retirement, except it's today. It's not like you waited till 62 or 67. I hope that explains it. Anyway, I'm going to pop this up. Members will get it first, of course. I have to tack it on to whenever the last one in the queue is, because I don't like to do more than one in a day, but you'll see it eventually. Okay? I'll talk to you later. Bye. Hey, so if the subject matter of the video you just listened to is of interest and you want more on it, stay tuned. Here's another one about the same topic, but a little bit different. Bye now. Okay, quickie little statement to help, again, clarify the difference between SSD and full retirement. You hear, and again, I have to say it's true, but you have to understand that we're talking about years down the road versus today. Your SSD is the same as what your full retirement benefit would be if it was based on all the work years that your SSD is depending on. So this is why when you look at your Social Security disability estimate in your earnings statement, it is different than your retirement at 67 estimate, also in your statement, because when you read the finer print, the Social Security retirement amount presumes that you didn't stop now at 55. You continued working at the same high rate you were doing at 54 or 55 until you're 62, 63, 64, whichever year you plan to retire. So it is using, it has more SSA premiums paid in for those additional presumed years, and that's how they get their estimate. As opposed to SSD, which is saying, we know you're not going to do that because you're disabled. You know, they're presuming you, if you file now and win, and you prove that you're disabled as of this age right now, established onset date, this is what you're going to get. You're not going to get as if you're full retirement age but didn't put in those presumed years. You're not going to get nailed with 0 years between now and retirement. Those zeros that you would otherwise have because you're disabled don't count. They don't get worked in the calculation to drag you down. But you're also not going to get pretend years of making whatever your most recent, perhaps best year was. So when you see a difference between your SSD estimate and your age 67 full retirement estimate, that's why. That is full retirement if you put in another 10 years or whatever it is. And the SSD is if you do not. This is the full calculation. The math is done the same. There is no extra years tacked on for assumed better income, and there's no 0 years tacked on, which would happen if you didn't file for SSD and just glided up until retirement and then collected. You would, if you did that, you would see that retirement number shrink like a raisin for many people. So I just wanted to tack that on. It is the same as your full retirement rate. It's just not the imaginary one you see on your earnings statement that is presuming that you trotted off into the future earning great income. And therefore your numbers change because your calculation changed. Remember your Social Security uh, primary insurance amount, whether it's 10 years from now or today, depends on the work you've done thus far and paid in for. Okay? All right. Bye, guys. Of course, my tech is so bad, I can't even figure out where my off button is.